The truth of the matter is this.
Welcome.
I don't think a lot of the consuming public knows that, but that is the case.
goatforreal216.
It's just math. Just math.
The podcast.
He's a little bit savage.
Eva?
Yeah.
We're back up in this bitch.
Oh, man, we're back, Shawn P.
We're back. What do you want to do?
I think I want to do a podcast.
We haven't done a podcast in a while.
It's been like almost a month.
First of all, I was having two withdrawal symptoms.
Okay, tell me about it.
Well, two withdrawal topics, and then I'll tell you the symptoms.
Okay.
So I was having podcast withdrawal.
Okay, what's the symptoms of the podcast withdrawal?
So there's multiple symptoms,
Okay.
But the diagnosis was easy. I knew exactly what it was. I could tell that it was podcast withdrawal because I would find myself walking past the door that leads down to the podcast room.
Okay.
And a craving would happen, almost like back in my drug days, because I was a drug addict back in the day. Like I would have these cravings, and I felt a craving come over when I would walk by the door. Like all I wanted to do was walk down here and start talking to people. Like it just started. So I had that little withdrawal. So it was tough. I got through it. I went to some meetings.
Okay,
and,
good.
I got through it, and I prayed, and I talked to my sponsor. And I did all the right things. So I worked the steps.
Great.
There's now a podcast withdrawal recovery-based
Yes.
12-step program that I started.
You got to tell me about
For
it.
other podcasters. So I was happy. That was one symptom. But you want to know what was worse?
What's that?
Eva withdrawal.
I was having Shawn withdrawal.
Dude, that happens to most women.
I mean.
But I'm talking about I was having Eva withdrawal. Yeah, no, that's a thing. Like if you meet me and you have estrogen in your body, if you meet me, you miss me immediately after I go away.
So tell me about Eva withdrawal.
So okay, I was going to give you a follow-up on that, but that's
I mean,
fine.
I'm curious.
No, look,
Nobody's
if you're
ever said they had Eva withdrawal before.
So you like the Eva withdrawal part. You're here for that.
I'm curious about it, yeah.
So the Eva withdrawal was, I would be sitting, because, I'm a single bachelor in my house by myself, you know what I'm saying? So I find myself sitting there sometimes like wanting some like mental stimulation. Mental stimulation.
I wasn't saying
I already
a word.
know where you were going. So
Eyebrow
mental
up,
stimulation.
look to the left.
And so, like, I would start to text you, just because I missed you. Like, I would start to text you, and I'd be like, she's got, IT Rob, she's got her family, she's got her other business and stuff. Like, I can't be bothering Eva all the time because I'm lonely.
You're
but
still
I would
allowed to
literally,
text
there was
me,
times
though.
I was yearning for you.
Well,
The interaction.
you can always text me, Shawn. I exist outside of the podcast room, too.
Texting doesn't really fill. It doesn't really do it like the in-person thing.
I know.
Like, I'm not a sexter. This has nothing to do with you. I'm talking about in
I would
general.
hope not.
Like, I know people are into sexting, and somehow that gets them. I guess they get some sort of satisfaction off doing it. I get zero. That doesn't do anything for me. Like, I don't go to strip clubs because that's not fun for me. Like, because some guys like to go, and I don't know how, but that satisfies them. I'm like, you're not coming home with me. So, like, why would I be excited about you? You know what I mean? I know you're faking. You don't like me.
Right.
You like that I have a little money in my pocket.
Right, you like that I have money in my
Yeah, so
pocket.
it's like fake. So same thing. Sexting doesn't do it. Strip clubs don't do it. The only thing that does it for me is face-to-face physical interaction. And I am so happy now that I have that with you.
Well, guess what? I have
Yeah.
great news for you. You get me for
You're
another
moving in?
13 weeks
You're
at
moving in?
least.
You're moving in?
I'll think about it.
But I do want to keep it to once a week.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
13 weeks in a row, to
We're
be
not
exact.
doing 2 days a week.
No.
That's too much.
Well, before we get too far into it, we want to thank this week's sponsor, Evolutionary Productions. You'll hear a little bit more about them at the break, but thanks to Evolutionary Productions. What'd you do while we were away, Shawn?
Worked. Spent time with my beautiful children. Lost weight. I started a semaglutide program. It's a weight loss program. I'm going to say semaglutide because that's the word that I know and it's popular. So I get these shots, right, like once a week, and they retrain me how to eat better.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal because I have a love affair with food. You know what I'm saying? Like I just, to the fact where like, it consumes my thoughts sometimes. Like, honestly, like I'll think about like what I want to eat, how good it's going to be, you know, like I'll not eat early so I can like overeat later. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know
it's crazy,
exactly
dude. Like,
what you're talking
the
about.
relationship with food it's bad. So, but anyway, so I take these shots and they kind of curb your appetite and everything. And then I mixed in a little bit of exercise.
Ooh.
And svelte.
I mean, you're
That's
definitely...
my new favorite word.
You're dropping weight.
I'm down 30.
Nice.
30 pounds.
Congrats.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. I feel phenomenal. So I focused on that. So a little bit of like self-love.
Nice.
And
Everybody
I don't really
needs
love
some
myself
self-love.
at all, so that's new.
Well, good. I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, so a little bit of that. So I worked, started the new venture with the Vehicle Acquisition Center, which is going phenomenal, buying cars from all around the country, getting them shipped in from private owners. Super, super excited about that. So that's going good. That's about it. What about you?
Oh, man. I left the state for a little while.
Now, was your probation officer okay with it?
Look, they don't need to know everything,
Did you have
okay?
to sign it?
No,
Like-
they don't need to know everything.
Okay.
I mean, I'm outing myself right now, but that's okay. I'm back now, so there's no way to prove I was
them
gone.
so they can't see this episode.
I'm just kidding. I don't have a probation officer. But I did that. I started cycling like every single day of my life. So that's new for Eva. And I
Dude,
spent...
are we like improving?
I think we are.
Dude, I'm like working out and like dieting, and you're cycling and running from your PO.
I know. It's like, and that, let me tell you, running from your PO, whew, that's
Now,
a
were you
workout.
using the cycling to get away from your PO?
It gets me there faster.
You're
You know what I'm
practicing
saying?
getting out of
It
here in
gets me
case
there
they-
faster.
When they knock on the door, you're like, Rob, get the bike.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha.
But then, yeah, I just spent as much time as I could with IT Rob, and that's about all I did.
IT Rob loves you.
He does, but I love him too, so
Okay, whatever.
it works.
So, you know what I did do, which was super cool?
Yeah.
We went to, wasn't a date.
No,
We
there were
went
other
to-
people there.
We went,
Stop it!
aren't there always? We went to a car show.
We did. We went to a car show this
kinda
past
dope.
weekend. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was pretty surprised by some of the stuff we saw.
There were some super cool cars there. And it was cool to get out. I was a little disappointed nobody recognized me.
Well, I don't think we were in the right crowd.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I was kind of wondering.
No, I'm kidding. A
But-
couple people, I was pretty sure, like I saw them looking at me like, is he a car guy? Like somehow, but you know, I try to deflect it. You know what I mean? I don't want to call too much attention to myself.
Yeah.
So
So what kind of, do you got some news of the week for me today, Shawn?
you know, I guess news. I like to keep on top of products and stuff and what's coming out, and what's going to be new in the industry, and what sort of. You know, I'm a technology guy. I get excited by technology, and other than sexting. And
That's so 2003,
which part?
the sexting.
You're wrong. Somebody sexted me like an hour ago.
Well, they're stuck in the past.
Sounds like.
Anyway, news of the week, technology.
She's hot too. The girl that, just so you know.
I'm
Like,
sure
she's
she
not-
is.
Okay. So, one thing that's interesting is this. So here's where we're going in the automotive industry. I think everybody knows this. I'm not dropping any hot takes. Your car is more and more becoming a extension of you.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Even in the cars that are out there now, you know, there's a lot of personalized things that can go on, technology based. But Acura and Honda are a little bit at the forefront of what's going on with the complete interaction of the human directly linked to the automobile experience.
Okay.
So Acura is coming out with an EV called the ZDX. That's going to be their new EV in 2024. Honda's coming out with what's called a Prologue. And they are going to be the first platform to use Google built-in, is what it's
Ooh.
called.
Okay.
So what's Google built-in? Google built-in is going to be a completely interactive driver experience. You no longer need your phone. The car will do everything your phone does. You'll be able to voice recognition, any prompt. You know what I mean? Like you do with these other systems. You can do everything. It's going to integrate into, it's called Google built-in. It'll be in your dashboard or in your, your information screen. And it's going to have your email logged into it. It's going to have your Google Maps logged into it. It's going to have like Google Review. Anything Google that you can do, which is everything, is going to now be in your car. You can leave your phone at home.
So like if I have, let's just say for instance, I have the goat programmed in my phone or my
That's
Google.
Not a for instance, you do. Yeah.
And I have your address programmed in.
You do.
I could just tell my car, take me to the goat's house, and it will take me there.
Most girls will do that, yes.
Okay.
That's not. They should put that in every car.
I mean, that's just a piece of advice for people listening. Like,
no,
hello.
yes, no, for real. So, like, you're going to be able to listen. These are gone. Mm-hmm. People can't fathom that right now. This is gone. Mm-hmm. Taking this thing with you everywhere is going bye-byes. Losing this thing, breaking this thing.
This thing is the phone for audio listeners.
This is going to be, yeah, it's a phone. I'm not going to go into my photos. I know you want me to.
Damn it.
But this is gone. This is going to be archaic. And I'm telling you, it's faster than you think. Mm-hmm. I have my Ray-Ban smart glasses on the way.
Really?
Yep. You know what that is? You know what that is a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. So built-in camera, built-in recorder, built-in voice recognition, take pictures, call people, text people, sex people, text people from a pair of glasses.
Wow.
Happening in cars. So, it leads you to another topic of how much of this is scary and how much of this is convenient. Mm-hmm. And I think that's another podcast. But I am excited that they're making that kind of technology because I do think that the interactive experience is the way to go. Listen, at the end of the day, computers are gone too. At some point, we're going to have a screen in front of our eyes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And everything's going to be right here, And
it's like Star Trek is going to exist for real.
It's the Jetsons on steroids. Mm-hmm. It's whatever. Yeah. But I think that's cool that they're doing that. Mm-hmm. And Apple will be, I'm sure, close to follow, and everybody. It's what's happening. It is, period, end of story. So, remember that little thing that came out called the internet? Mm-hmm. Remember when that?
And everybody's like, "Oh, that's going to be a fad.
Yeah.
That's a trend."
Yeah. And so, how much longer before ChatGPT is in your car?
Now that scares me. That's a whole nother podcast.
That gets me excited. ChatGPT is cool as AF. That's cool AF. As my kids say.
ChatGPT scares me.
It's scary. They have to limit the AI. They have to limit the ability, but they're working on it. I mean, Elon Musk says it's going to end the world. You ask Elon Musk, he says right now, it's the most dangerous thing ever. We need to figure it out. I mean,
that's one of the few things I agree with. I think AI is coming too hard, too fast. It needs to slow down.
That's not appropriate to say on a family show.
Listen,
what you just said.
It's only inappropriate because you made it inappropriate.
But anyways, I think that's news. I think it's super cool. Some people may not think it's cool, but I think it's good. I mean, cars should be a more direct interaction and extension of yourself. You spend a lot of time in it. The idea that you have to think about it, the idea that you have to take your eyes off of the main function that you have to do to be in a car, which is driving and watching, to perform any task, is really stupid.
It is.
So why wouldn't you make it more, all I got to do is talk?
Right, and then you can still be focused the whole time.
So I thought that was cool. I thought it was exciting.
That is exciting. I'm curious to see where that goes and how quickly.
They haven't said, are we going to put it in every car, but right now it's EVs, this next EV that's coming out. So, the car business is...
But we all know EVs are the future, so...
They are, and I love them. Mm-hmm. So that's what I got for now.
Nice. Well, I think that's a good break point. What do you think?
I think it's a good time for a break.
All right. Well, then we'll be back in a few minutes.
Holler.
So, want to thank a company that is near and dear to my heart.
Who's that?
EVAlutionary Productions.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so familiar. I wonder where I've heard that before.
Guys, let me tell you about EVAlutionary Productions. So, it's run by a gal named Eva B in the industry. And so she is a technical, artistic whiz with a great work ethic and exquisite artistic ideas when it comes to any and all things digital production. If you are looking for somebody to help you remote, or you could be local, Eva has started a company called EVAlutionary Productions, and it is taking off. So you can be one of the beggars. You can add your name to the list. But if you come from this podcast and you say it, I bet you get moved to the top.
I think that's pretty accurate.
I think that's true.
EVAlutionary Productions, helping you create evolutionary content.
Welcome back.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us again. And, of course, thank you once again to our sponsor, Evolutionary Productions. If I may say so myself, they're pretty great.
Yeah, they're all right.
They're all right. So, Shawn, the big question that has been going on that happened to take place mostly in the break of the podcast is, what the hell are you doing now? What are you doing in the car business?
So we sold the Mitsubishi dealership in March. So I joined with a group, a dealer group here in town, and we started a vehicle acquisition center. So what that is we now source inventory from private owners around the country, sourcing inventory for a dealer network that we have. So basically, I buy cars from private owners, ship them into Cleveland sometimes, and then ship them out to the network. Or, depending on where they're at, where the car's at, I have a dealer network. I may have a dealer partner in that area. I just ship the car directly to them.
Okay.
So it's a vehicle acquisition center. We did, last month, I think we bought and sold 240 cars.
Nice.
So it seems to be working out good. So basically, right now, I just acquire vehicles from private owners. I use my social platform to do it. A lot of my stuff comes off TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. We also use Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer as a lead source. So I buy cars.
Nice.
I buy cars from people, and I send them out to the dealer network across the country, and it's fun.
That sounds exciting. I bet you get to interact with like a lot of different people.
A lot of people, and it's cool. In the way we're doing it with social, somebody will, I'll be on the phone with them, and they're like, I didn't know it was you that was going to call me. You know what I mean? Like they think like, one of my people's going to call them or something like that and get the information. And
the purple-haired girl from the videos is going to call.
Yeah, they think like somebody that works for me, and like I'm like, I'll text them. I'll be like, hey, it's Shawn, goatforreal216 in parentheses. Can we talk about your car? And you know what I mean? They'll be like, yeah, and then I'll call them. They're like, oh my god, like I can't, like
it's really you.
Yeah, and which is cool. And I never mind. I love it. I'm humbled by the whole thing. So I think it's awesome. But I meet some really cool people doing it this way, and it's been awesome. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. Don't know if that's what I'm going to do forever, but that's what I'm doing right now.
Sounds fun for right now.
It is.
Nice.
Yeah. So, it brings me to another topic. It's funny because, so the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, okay, for me in my head, my pea brain, I categorize them by generation.
Okay.
I just do. I think TikTok is, when I think about TikTok, which is my biggest platform, I think Gen Z millennial.
100%.
Now, I will tell you that the stats will tell you that there are more Generation X users on TikTok than you would ever imagine.
Yes, there are, but they're the commenting generation. Like, they're not posting, but they're commenting on everything.
True. Say less.
Yeah. No cap.
No cap. Because
on God,
that's true. Big facts. Because I do. I get the comments from those people. You know what I'm saying? And but then I always look at their profile. You know what I mean? And it's always user 9,772,600. With no content, no profile picture. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but now, so I think of Instagram, or IG as we call it, as Gen X, millennial, not so much Gen Z people, kind of. And then I think of Facebook as old people. Like me. And it's funny when I deal with the different people about the car stuff, or even interacting about social. First of all, Facebook people suck.
Oh my God, they're
They're so mean and rotten.
They're so mean.
There are 20 mean comments for every nice comment. You know what I'm saying? Now, TikTok, out of 20 comments, it'll be like 15 nice or neutral and 5, okay, boomer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, and I'm like, I'm not a boomer, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
IG is nothing but emoji comments.
Yeah. So, no. Yeah. Big facts on that, too.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't, but anyways, but the different generations, I don't want to say that, I'm here for it. I'm cool. Every generation's got how they see things and how they view things, and it's not their fault.
Right.
Any way they think is not their fault. The way a millennial or thinks today is not their fault. It doesn't make them better or worse, smarter or dumber than me.
Right.
It's just how they were raised.
And they had a different environment. Like each generation has a totally different environment and set of like world circumstances that are happening.
Correct. Right. Like, yeah, like so when I talk to one of them, sometimes it hits me in the face, like you have to be patient with the different mindset that these different generations have. Because, let's talk about a Gen Z, right? Let's say that, 25 years old, ballpark? That's Gen Z, isn't it?
Yeah. Like 25 is like the high end of Gen Z, but yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about millennials. So millennials. So they were raised with a device in their hand for the most part, right? I mean, on the device, they were coddled. Let's be honest. I mean, I'm Gen X and I am guilty. I have not done the world a favor the way I've raised my kids. And most of us Gen Xers haven't. We were raised very tough, or we raised each other. They didn't want us around. Mom and Dad didn't want us around.
Go outside. Don't come in until the street lights are on.
The sun's up. Go outside. See you later. You know what I mean? Like, I was getting, drinking a 12-pack of Goble in a ditch somewhere. You know what I mean? Smoking dope. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, driving a stolen car all day. And Mom thought I was playing Nintendo, at Joey's house. Wrong. I'm in a ditch. I'm half dead. You know what I mean? Or, and these kids, they've been coddled, but that's because I think we knew what we were doing. So we so we make everything real easy for them. Cause I don't want you to feel unwanted like I felt, cause then you're going to go do what I did, which ended up in a drug addiction and, you know what I'm saying? Chasing strange women for 20 years.
Yep.
Right. To try to figure out how to validate myself as a man.
Right.
I still do it.
Hey.
The sexting helps.
Agree to disagree.
Listen, it makes me feel good.
I mean,
so
okay.
The videos aren't bad. They're good. But listen, my point is this. The generations, it's crazy because cigarette. The generations, like, I'll get somebody that'll comment. I'll make a video and I'll get somebody that'll comment, and like the way they see it is so different. Like for me, you say something mean to me. Look, I got thick skin. Okay, I'm Generation X. Like I said, we were raised differently. Our mom and dad called us idiots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like mom and dad were like, "Shut up, stupid."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we were like, "Okay, I guess it's okay to be called stupid." You know what I mean? So it didn't bother us. But like, you say something like that to a millennial, triggered.
Right.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You're
But then say something like that to a Gen Z and they're just laughing in your face. Like literally.
Right. They're the generation that they don't have any feelings.
They don't. They're like, okay.
Because they never learned what it's like to human interact. I get so when I hire people, right? Like you hire a Gen Z. Listen, I'm not knocking. It's how they were raised. It's how they communicate. I'm sure they'll be successful. They don't know how to look anybody in the eye. They don't know how to shake somebody's hand. My two boys, I remember when they were younger, I told them how to shake hands. I said, you put your chest up, your chin up, you put your chest out, you reach out your hand, and you look them in the eyeballs when you do it. Now, are they great at it? No, they're not great at it, but they know. You know what I mean? If they go for a job interview, they're going to know how to shake the guy's hand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And look them in the face and talk.
But these kids come in for an interview. First of all, they're not dressed for an interview. They're dressed for the gym.
Literally, I don't understand it.
And then, like, when they come in, like, I'm like, hey, so tell me a little bit about yourself. They don't know how to interact. And so, I'm not talking bad about these generations. It's just, if you're like Generation X or even a boomer, you have to learn how to navigate these different generational tendencies, because you can easily dissuade yourself from forming a relationship with one of them because you're taking how they're acting as rude or as aloof, and they're not. They're just, you're different. You got a Gen X vibe to you, but you're different.
I'm an elder millennial, thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's just one thing for me that I find myself trying to be very sensitive to when I'm reacting with these different generations, because it's a different time right now. I don't think there's ever been such a clear line of who falls into what.
Right.
Like, I remember, to me, when I was a kid, if you were older than me, you were just an adult. I didn't have to feel like I had to watch they, them. listen, how would I know? I have no
Right.
chance of knowing. You know what I'm saying? But like, dude, you can say something wrong, and you all of a sudden you're an asshole.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well,
But it is. But you do make a really good point that it's like it's just not something you know.
there should be a book. There has to be a manual. There has to be some instructions. Like people should come with somewhere. Like I'm just like, here, listen, like don't say this to me, don't call me this. Like how do you know?
Right.
There has to be, we need a manual. We need a manual, something, or you have to have a badge or something. I'm coming up with it, or maybe I don't know what it is, but people need to start coming with instructions. Because you say she, and before you know it, it's silence in the room, and everybody's looking at you like you're the big bad wolf. You know, like you just, pillaged their family and like stole all their food. And I'm like, she's got boobs. I don't know. I thought it was a she. You know what I mean? That's what I look at. Like, you got tits? She. You don't? Dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't, but like, then I'm the jerk, and then I feel like I'm an old boomer, who's out of touch and stuff, and I don't care. Maybe I am out of touch, but like, then you start to feel guilty. Then you start to feel like the guy, like the old guy at the bar.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's looking at it like, dude, you know what I mean? Take your Skechers and go home. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a weird time. It definitely applies to the car business for me because, we have to think about greeting these people and doing business with them. The way they do business is different.
Oh, for sure.
The way they buy things is different. And I keep up on it. Look, I think I'm one of the more progressive, Generation X people that I know as far as keeping up, but because I'm just interested in it, But the people that aren't, you're a zombie out there.
Right.
You don't know what the fuck you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you're saying things that are offending people and you don't even know.
And some don't care, but that's a different podcast.
So, from your standpoint, okay, we're going to classify you as a millennial, right?
Yep.
They, them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
On your profile?
Yep.
They, them.
That's
it's out
me.
there.
Yep.
Okay. Get offended every day or no?
No, I'm not the offended person because it
Now,
actually
why?
lends.
I want to know.
So it lends exactly to the point you were just making. If you walked in this room and never met me, I mean, I'm fully aware that you look at me and I look like a woman. I look like a stereotypical woman. That's how
with
society
rabbit
sees
ears,
me.
yes.
Right. So if you don't know me and you don't even know my name, I'm not going to expect you to know they don't use she pronouns. Like, eventually, if I get to know you, we'll talk about it.
Right.
And then I will explain that this is what I prefer, blah, blah, blah. But, like, if I don't know you, I'm not going to get offended that, like, you don't. It's just, like, there's no extreme immediate identifiers identifying me that way. So I'm not going to get upset if somebody I don't know doesn't know that. There are people who do. And I understand it. It's an identity thing. But, like, I just feel comfortable enough with myself that I'm not immediately offended just because somebody doesn't know.
Okay, so you don't get offended by it.
No.
Okay.
Now, when I do get offended is if it's, like, an extremely close friend who I've had big conversations with about it and they continue to constantly, like, do it wrong or make a joke about it, then I get upset because it's like, well, we've shared these things. Like, you know me, like, as much as I know me. Like, that's totally different. But if it's just, like, a stranger or somebody I don't really know, I'm not going to get upset about it.
So, okay. So that's the Gen X vibe in you, I believe, being activated, not getting offended by it. I think you have a little bit of that. So it brings me to a conversation I had with my ex-wife.
Okay.
So, and I'm not putting her in this thought process. This is my thought process. This is what I said. God, we could go viral for the wrong reasons right now.
Oh, man. I'm excited.
But you're in that community. How many letters are in it now?
I just call it the Alphabet Mafia because there's a lot.
What is
and
it?
I'm in it.
What is it, though?
LGBTQIA+. Plus.
So, do you feel that there are people that move themselves into that identity for attention only? Because it's, let me just say, it's trendy. It gives you an identity. Do you feel, or do you know people that you maybe, be honest, that you've met and been like,
okay, so I had a conversation exactly about this just the other day, and I think there are people like myself who genuinely feel this way, genuinely
Look, I've seen
identify
you
this
check
way.
out chicks and be attracted to them.
I know.
I know you have
I
that
know.
in your genes. That's cool.
I do think there are people who are Insta queers. They're queer for Instagram.
I love
You know,
That's the best thing I've ever.
they claim the broadest identity to keep themselves distant enough, but yeah, Insta queers. I think they're out
That's
there.
the best thing I've ever heard.
Yep.
Yeah, but okay, meaning I'm doing this now because because I have a lack of identity. Maybe I was ever an athlete or a rock star or whatever the different things you could be, or a cool guy, or girl or whatever, cheerleader. So you search for an identity. So you go to this to belong,
because it's
belong.
it's a little controversial, and it's
interesting.
It's a little different. So, if I say this on my social media, I'll look different.
Right.
I
And-
can claim this community and
Right.
post all the pictures when I go to Pride.
Okay, so
Like stuff
you
like
believe
that.
that there is a pocket of people, let's call it, that do it for the attention and for the identity seeking, other than it being genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not wrong. I knew it. I thought so. I'm like, I don't believe you. Like not to be funny, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like you never want to be wrong, but like I'm like, I don't know. You know what I mean? I think you're doing this because you want attention.
I will say I think that's the minority of people who do it, but I do think there are people out there who do that.
Yeah.
Whether it be gender identity, sexual identity, I think they do it for the trend and for the clout.
Dude, it's so different back in the day, back in the early hip-hop era of the 90s. I mean, there was a bunch of white dudes walking around with their pants hanging down, wearing gold chains, acting like they were gangster rappers. They were called wiggers. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That was
Like,
the thing.
so-
when I was alive for that era of time.
Yeah,
Yep.
I lightweight was one. I mean, to be honest with you.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just had a really specific picture in my brain.
No. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I had the parachute pants, I'll be honest with you. I never had the starter or the FUBU.
No?
No, I never had. Well, I lived in the suburbs, but I am like a inner city kid at heart. But like I was there was two of us, me and one other dude that liked rap music in my high school before it was rap music. I'm talking about, early LL Cool J. I'm talking about, early Run DMC, even older stuff. Bands groups you wouldn't even have ever heard of. I liked rap music. I just did. You know what I mean? And it was not popular. Everybody was walking around with Def Leppard
it
T-shirts and
was not.
cigarettes rolled up in their thing, and I'm like, listening to LL Cool J. You know what I mean? But
And this is the same
but it
person.
was an identity. I was just drawn to it. But there was a group of kids back then. Obviously, they went to that. They became little gangsters.
And
Living in the
and it
suburbs,
was just
driving their
because
mommy's
of the look.
BMW.
Right.
Leaning. like
It
that.
was just because of the look, though.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my thing was though, I had a sick mullet. My mullet was
I
nasty.
want to see pictures, or
Listen.
it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Or it didn't
I
happen.
have a picture of my baseball team from high school, and I'm standing in the back in the middle because I was good, and that's where the good people stand. And my mullet is out to about here, and it's wispy, and I'm not going to play. It was a panty dropper. Let's just call
So
it
you
what it
said pics, or it didn't happen, Shawn.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to get it.
I
So,
expect pics before
a
the
winger
next
with a
podcast.
mullet, that's what I was.
God.
So, all right. Anyways, that's my generational conversation. I don't know. It's something that I deal with every day, and I'm really committed to being sensitive to it, not underclassifying or overclassifying people, respecting their boundaries. Dude, that's cool. I mean, for real, that is so cool. You feel that way? Look, it breaks my heart to think there's people walking around right now feeling a certain way about themselves and having to act another way.
Right.
That makes me
That
honestly want to
really
cry.
upsets me, too.
It makes me want to cry. I can't imagine living like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that is now acceptable. You feel that way. You want to identify that way. I'm here for it. We're going to respect that.
Yep.
But it's tough to navigate those waters.
It is.
So-
It's a new world, and like we all have to kind of learn how to function in it together. But
Yeah.
you know what really scares me? The monsters that are going to be Gen Alpha. That's the youngest
I haven't
generation
even-
right now.
I don't even. Who is that? Is it my
Like-
kids? They're 15 and 13.
No, it's like 13 and younger, I think.
They don't matter yet.
But think about it. 10 years from now, when the oldest one is 23 years old,
Yeah.
they're going to be a person whose entire life was consumed with streaming services, chaotic news, and social media, and nothing else.
I think the world will be ended by then.
That's scary to me.
Yeah, it is scary. But you know what? You'll still have, I believe, 10 years, guys like me will still be around. You'll still have the influence of the older generations that I think will calm the waters a little bit, but it's getting scarier. And so it'll be harder to navigate. I won't give a shit by then. Like at that point, I'm like, I don't care what you identify as. Your name's Joe. That's it. So, but anyways, so that's my hot take. That's where I'm at with it.
Well, that was a good discussion.
Yeah, and it does. It applies to car business in general, life in general. And so that's why I wanted to touch on it. I think it's important.
I do, and I know we kind of glossed past this part, but I do think it's important that you said that it does change how you do business with people.
100%.
Because, Gen X, they want the best deal. They want to be the smarter person in the room who got the best deal for whatever they're doing.
Right.
But then you jump to like the millennial generation, they want to know as much information as possible. If it costs a little more, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But is it the
Educate
safest
me.
thing for me?
Yeah.
Do I understand every element about it? And that's two very different approaches to doing business.
Yeah, no, completely.
So,
anyways, that's where you're at as a business person. That's where you're at as a person. Navigating these waters. It's an interesting time, but it's interesting, but it's enlightening and it's fun and it's cool. It's cool to, the world didn't change for so long. And there's a lot of change right now, and I think, out of change, great things can come if you adapt, and so I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? So, gang, bitch. That's what I say.
Gang.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it for this episode. Yeah.
I'm done.
All right. Well, last but not least, as always, we would like to thank our sponsor one last time, EVAlutionary Productions. I think they're pretty great. I know they're pretty great. Shawn, anything else?
No, I mean, thanks for tuning back in, guys. Season 2 is underway. Here we go.
Lots of changes coming.
Lots
so
of
be
changes,
prepared.
and car business based, guys. I mean, car questions. I mean, we're gonna do our. It's still a car based show. I'm a car guy. That's all I. That's the only thing I really know anything about. I mean, honestly, I'm pretty stupid when it comes to anything other than the car business. My ex-wife has said that for years, and she's not wrong.
Well, on that note, we will be back next week.
Holla at your boy.
Holla.
Hey, Goat Army, thank you so much for listening. We really, really appreciate all the support.
And we would like to thank our sponsor for this week's episode. Your support means a ton.
Now, you can find me across all social media at goatforreal216. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. For additional info, you can check out my bio page, www.goatforreal216.info. Now, when you go to those socials, please do me a quick favor. Make sure you hit the like, follow, and subscribe buttons.
And you can find me across all social media at Evolutionary Productions, including Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. For additional info, you can check out www.evolutionaryproductions.com or www.evabrettrager.com. And just like Shawn P. said, please make sure to like, follow, and subscribe.
Yeah, leave us ratings, reviews on your preferred streaming platforms. And listen, guys, please be honest. This podcast is not going to be effective if we don't reach the right audience and you don't tell us what it is you want from our content. Be honest, please.
And subscribe there as well. Additionally, for exclusive content, be sure to join us on Patreon, which gives you access to our secret Discord.
We love secrets.
Yes, we do.
Holler.
Holla.
The Goat for Real 216 podcast is produced by Goat for Real 216 and Evolutionary Productions. Copyright 2023, all rights reserved. No part of this podcast can be reused or reproduced without written express consent from all parties. For information, please contact Evolutionary Productions directly at evolutionaryproductions@gmail.com. Holla!